Hello, guys. Welcome to another episode of this Commerce Live by Ecomcy, the place of air related to Amazon FBA Pro Level and e-commerce. My name is Vincenzo Toscano, founder and CEO of Ecomcy, and today we bring another special guest. Her name is Noemi, and she's the co-founder of ScaleWave, which is one of the top agencies out there when it comes to really optimizing your PPC and scaling your brand on Amazon. And that's why I wanted to bring Noemi to the podcast today. I've actually been seeing a lot of the things she's been doing in the space. I know actually she was one of the co-hosts of one of the podcasts that I actually been listening for a long time, which is Wizards of Ecom. So I know she really knows her stuff when it comes to Amazon. And that's why I think today you really need to look at what she's going to be presenting, which is effectively how you, as a seller that essentially getting started, can implement PPC strategically to scale your brand forward. So Noemi, it's a pleasure to have in the show. Thank you so much for being here. How you doing?
Doing amazing. You're too kind, sir. You're too kind. It is an absolute pleasure to be on the show. And it was funny, like right before hitting recording, I was just saying that I'm also listening to your show. So I knowing that
Uh,
you're also listening to something that I produce, this is just like towards my heart because you know
oh,
better than anyone else how much time does it requires to put out not only content but like high quality content. So I'm honored.
thank you. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure for me to have you here. Now, let's start with a quick intro about yourself. You have such an amazing, background and you've been in the space for so long now. So for those that, haven't seen you before, tell us who is Noemi, how you got started into the industry. And then, of course, let's dive into the presentation. Yeah.
Sure thing. Sounds amazing. Actually, I do have a quick slide about it. It's not going to tell so
Love
much
it.
about me, but it's going to tell the most important like milestones in my life. So back in
Yeah.
2019, actually, I started my very first ad. This was out of the curiosity of, okay, let's see how does Amazon works. And for some reason, I also found a client that was willing to. They were selling on other marketplaces, but I was like, hey, Amazon already works for you. Why are you not going to prioritize that one? And based on that, like I'm so happy that I did that because otherwise I would have not ended up here with you today.
Yeah.
Basically, that's when I started. And when I say like I started as an Amazon listing and advertising consultant, oh boy, so what is the difference? And I think that that is something that I am now proud, to look back and see how much can your knowledge change, how much can you assimilate, how much can you like notice what's trends. So
Yeah.
2019, that's when we started. And then in 2020, actually, we started our own private label brand. And this is in the pet niche, and the brand is still going. Right now on Amazon, it's a bit tougher just because the niche is very, very competitive. Back in 2020, we were like kings. Right now, it's like it's picking up. So it's a Me Too product, but still it's
Mhm.
getting there. It's still selling. I also co-founded 2022 a Scale Wave, and that was genuinely because of we started our brands from scratch with little small budget, and I was really like, okay, now this is a new season in my life. I want to understand Amazon. I want to learn Amazon. What I've seen and what I noticed, and why actually I'm bringing this topic today is because Amazon ads were my really Achilles heel. I didn't know anything when it comes to spreadsheets, bidding, advertising, and so on. And I was so confused all the time. I'm coming from the music production industry, it has nothing to do with ads. However,
Awesome.
what I learned is that ads is really important to learn, and this is also why the presentation. So
Yeah.
moving next year's is like after that, it's just like everything just went it's just like hand in hand together. We
Yes.
also are, yeah, we
Love it.
also like help other brands, 6 to 7 brands. This is where we're specialized right now. But where I'm really specialized, similar as you, is like educating people, educating brands. So based on that, if it's okay with you, I would also like to
Yeah,
start the presentation.
let's get started. And yes, for those that might not know, as I briefly mentioned, like yeah, you have so much content as well. So I'm sure, guys, if you go to YouTube and put Noemi, you're gonna find a ton of insightful content from her. So make sure you check her out as well.
Sure thing. Thank you so much. All right. So, what is Amazon PPC? And keep in mind that here this topic is both for newbie sellers, for sellers who've been selling for a while, and also for advanced sellers. And why is this important to understand? Is because right now we have so many questions, both from friends, both from brands are selling that are selling on Amazon. Like, why should I go with Amazon PPC? So what actually this means is Amazon is going to place your products in front of shoppers who are looking to buy your product. That's it. It's super simple. And then how it works, basically, it's an action-based bid system. You would set a maximum bid that you're willing to pay per click, and then Amazon is going to use those bids in a real-time auction to determine which ads should be shown and where. Super simple, so everyone can understand it.
Hmm.
Campaign times, we have three campaigns: sponsor product, sponsor brand, and sponsor display. Later on that. And then targeting, you can target keywords. So if someone is looking for one specific keyword to find your product, that is what they are going to find. We have also product targeting. So you would target specific products for your product to show on top. And then we also have interest-based targeting, which is basically categories of people or audiences. Display, we have on and off Amazon. And based on this one, I think that this is like just in a nutshell enough for everyone to understand like why Amazon ads, how do they work, right? Now,
Hmm.
how do they compare to Google and Facebook ads? Don't get me wrong, I love Facebook ads, I love Google ads, but something that really right now it's not everyone's saying that you should go for outside traffic because that is the go-to, you know. I really want to have a better understanding of why would you do that and when would you do that. So whenever you're going to target Amazon ads, as we know, this is hyper specific target to the highest intent buy. So whenever someone is shopping on the on Amazon, usually if they are using shopping keywords, you know, they have the intent to buy. Whenever they would find you on Google, they would just like go maybe, you know, on your website, maybe find you in another way, but it's like more hoops to jump. Facebook is the highest because there, if you don't have an e-commerce store that is not Amazon, you know, you would redirect them there or you would redirect them. But it's still like it has those hoops, but when it
Hmm.
comes to targeting, and I'm sure you can like also see this in the differences, Facebook is the broadest. It's very, very
Yes.
hard to segment, you know. And why is this important is because based on this one, also you can expect the return on investment, you know. So why is PPC crucial for you and your products? Right now, what we're seeing, and here also I'm super curious on your end. Before, like even in 2020, it was 30% PPC and then 70% organic, and it worked well. It did not matter if it's sponsored product, sponsored brand. It's just like for some reason, it did not matter if they're auto campaigns. It worked, you know. But right now, what we are noticing, there's a huge shift where is like there are more placement available, which is great, but in the same time it's way more costly. So right now, actually, the shift that we're seeing is like 70 to 30%. Of course, this is as a general; it's not for all categories. Some categories are
Yeah.
still like, you know. And also, like I'm curious on your end, like what is your output there? Because whenever I'm sharing like this information, people are like, "What do you mean?" So, what do you
Yeah.
think?
I know, I know. In fact, this one is so important that to highlight the ratio because I feel if you're not aware of, what is actually the distribution that you should expect from PPC, it's very easy to fall into the trap of thinking that maybe PPC is not as important as some people actually consider it to be, and then you start making the wrong decision in terms of how much budget you put towards PPC, the priority, and all of that. So it's good. Yeah, you're highlighting that for sure. Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, awesome. Good to see. So, um, behold, two experts told you just the same thing to our listeners. All right, the consequences of Amazon PPC. So, even if you're running outside traffic ads to your Amazon listings to keep a sustainable organic ranking, you can't really survive without Amazon advertising. And why this is really important for our listeners to understand is because I know that there are so many people who are just starting on Amazon. They put all their hopes, their dreams, their money into it. But really, if they're not going to push on the advertising side, and if they don't have any like anything that is outside that is bringing in traffic, it's going to be very, very hard for them, you know, even to be noticeable, even to become a blip, you know, on the page 101 of Amazon, you know. And the strategy really it is to play the game, to profit and win and not lose. This is really it. It's nothing else.
Hmm.
It's this is the highest level strategy, you know. And based on this, you're going to have the small targets, small goals that are going to help you to achieve that. And when it comes to action, really, it's mastering the game by learning the fundamentals that only the top 1% of advertisers know. And why am I stressing out so much in everything what I'm teaching? Is because this year, I became even more vocal about learn the fundamentals, learn the basics. This is why we have a freaking what is Amazon PPC, you know?
Exactly.
Because most of the time what is happening is like people don't understand the fundamentals, therefore they have false expectations, therefore they're not going to meet their expectation, therefore it's
Mm.
all the time someone else's fault, when it's like, hey, you don't have to become a master of it. Just learn how it works and then find the people who can help you navigate through, learn more, educate more, and actually have the sales revenue goals that you're looking for, you know.
Mhm.
So what do the 1% of advertisers do? Focus distribution. This is something that I'm noticing, especially since for the past 4 years. Back in 2019 and even like further, some auto campaigns could work really well for you. But right now in 2024, that is not anymore the case. Therefore, it's going to be very important for you which type of campaigns are you using, and also laser focusing on the 20% of action that produce 80% of results. Giving you an example, if you have been selling for some time on Amazon, if you have a large catalog of 20, 30 products, 50 products,
Mhm.
what is happening is that most of the time people are going to focus on whatever does not work as they want to fix that,
Mhm.
you know?
Mhm.
And here are
Yes,
like
instead of focusing where the money is coming from, like try to scale and leverage that, they try to find the silver bullet somewhere else. Yeah. And
right, and this is exactly a bias, you know. Like we have to make people aware of the fact that we have this bias of like solving, you know, the
Mhm.
problem. And then the thing is that whenever you're solving problems that are not highly related to whatever already works, you're going to lose focus from what already works. Say that something is working really well, and then okay, let's try the second product to bring it up, the third product, and so on, which is cool. But if you're losing the maximum amount of focus from something that actually is bringing the cash flow, is the lifeblood of whatever you're doing, your business on Amazon, you know, it's not going to help you because it's taking your attention, your focus. And this is really like the top advice that I can give. Focus on what it's really working right now in your account and see why
Mhm.
it's working so you can duplicate it, right?
Exactly.
Second is the strategy. So choosing the campaign and targeting type that makes the most sales and helps with organic ranking. And also, I would highly advise to advertise the top selling products instead of improving the ones that are not selling well. And here, again, this is just based on what we've seen so far, because this goes back to focus distribution. So whenever we're focusing on something that already works, we are boosting that, we can duplicate success. If you're not
Mm.
able to duplicate success, you cannot duplicate success for the second, for the third, for the fourth product, because it is a skill, you know. And
Exactly.
if you're not learning that, it's going to be very, very hard for you to like replicate the same process, same
Mhm.
success. Next is the ad funnel. So here it's going to be important, like what, which ad type, how it works. And again, I'm sharing this one because back when I started, I just like got from here, from there. Sometimes maybe even Vincenzo's post, like, oh, this makes sense, you know.
Mm.
So
Mm.
or even like Destiny from Better AMS, or like I'm not sure if Elizabeth Green was by the
Yeah.
time. No, she was. I think she was, but like in a smaller
Yeah.
way. So I
Mhm.
was I was just looking like what do professionals do? Like what like how do they set up things and so on? And something that actually it was missing on my end, I was really good at understanding the tips, tricks, tactics, and so on, which any follower should be, you know, but I didn't understand the whole. I didn't understood the why do we do what we do? Why sponsored products should be really 80-90% of your ads? Why
Mhm.
sponsored brands should take less? Why sponsored product sponsorship display should take less? And really, it has to do with awareness, consideration, and like conversions, you know.
Mhm.
And then control. So an ad campaign without a strategy is like a car without a steering wheel. More control do we have, higher our chances to make the choices to achieve the goals. And again, here it comes down to more do we know of what is actually going on in the account, more do we understand the campaigns that we are the campaign strategy, you know, behind them,
Mhm.
better control do we have of what is the outcome. Because if we don't get that, we are going to become the tips, tactics, and so on, you know, follower
Exactly.
rather than strategies, you know. By the way, at any time point, if you feel like you have questions or like something that I did not highlight,
Yeah,
that
I
you
think it's actually pretty cool. Yeah, if I have any questions, I'm preparing some, but not yet.
all right, brilliant, brilliant. And then bidding here, really mastering multi-level bidding, which is the ability to apply
Mm.
bid adjustment depending on the strategy of your campaign. Again, I'm just sharing you like ninja skills, just because I want you to understand like which are the things that maybe Vincenzo, maybe like the top
Mm.
players would do, because we do simple things. We are not like overcomplicating. We like, yes, it might be sometimes seasonal things, sometimes like We just had Amazon Prime Day, we just had like deals and so on. So that is something that is like the bells and whistles, let's put it that way. But what we understand is that if this doesn't work, it doesn't matter if you're going to apply all the coupons, all the pricing strategies, all the pictures, images, and so on. If this is not put set in place, it's not going to work just because the fundamentals or the foundation is not put in the right way, right?
Yeah.
So how to select keywords for your PPC campaigns. This is also a topic that most people are just asking about.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to share some tools. Most people are still using Helium 10. We are still
Yes.
using Helium 10. So reverse async lookup would be the
Yeah.
quickest
The
thing
main one.
for you to look. Yeah, and also you can, or if the product already has data that is available, you can do
Mm-hmm.
also a reverse async on your own async data dive. This is also like something that we absolutely love. Huge shout out to Brenda Young for creating this software. But basically here you can also do reverse async lookup for your top 10 to 15 competitors, as
Mm-hmm.
many as you want. And you would narrow down a list to 5 to 10 keywords that are really highly relevant for your product. Of course, if you have budget for more keywords, do go
Mm-hmm.
for 10, 15. But the idea would be that you have something and you're going to
Exactly.
try it out, and then
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
it works, great. If it doesn't, at least now you know, okay, what is the next thing that I'm going to try now?
Yeah.
Brand analytics, this is also something that you can use. So here you would need brand registry to access. I'm not sure who doesn't have brand registry nowadays,
Yeah.
but
It's a must. You need to have
it's
it.
a
Yeah.
must. It's a must, but I'm just throwing out there. Most people are not using it though. So I just like,
Mm-hmm.
most people are still with the tools side. So this is why I'm still like, okay, have it
That's
on
correct.
this is what you can. Search query performance reports. So for this one, you will also need some brand registry access and then search term reports. This is going to be available to you the moment that you already run ads. So what I would suggest here, download the reports for the past 30 days because those are the more relevant. Um, Between 30 days, 65 days, 180 days, and so on and so forth, what I've seen is like sometimes keywords that performed really well in the past are not going to perform the same way just because your competitor already took over
Mm-hmm.
that keyword and you don't have a chance. So this is why
Mm-hmm.
30 days would be ideal to see where do you fit right now, where do you
Exactly.
live on the Amazon
Mm-hmm.
platform.
Yeah.
So as I was saying, you would narrow it down, and really it's based on budget. Don't
Yeah.
go for more than 10 keywords, especially if you're not sure of what is going on. Because what is going to happen is always whenever we're going to go into the how to set up a first PPC campaign and why is this important is because most people don't understand that each click you have to give it time to convert. And if you don't have at least 10 to 15 clicks, you don't have proof that something works or not. Even if
Mm.
it's not converting, at least you have proof that it's not maybe the right keyword to target. But if it's converting and it's converting at 200, 300 ACOS, at least now you have proof that it works. It's just too expensive.
Yeah.
So,
Actually, just a quick question. You put there five
sure.
to 10 keywords, and I'm sure people is going to ask this question a lot. It's like some people say, yeah, but what if I do my Helium 10 reverse async and I found that is 100 keywords are important for my product? Why shouldn't I go for all the keywords to have a bigger chance? Of course, I know that's usually not the ideal scenario, but how you usually answer the fact that you should be going for less keyword and make sure you funnel your efforts rather than going all in, essentially not getting the same outcome across so many keywords. Yeah.
Love the question, love the question. This comes out more often than I would
Mm.
honestly. So each time think of it as risk. Whenever you're taking a move, like you're going to make your move and then you're taking one risk. Let's say you're going for one keyword, you're risking one thing. You're going for 10 keywords, you're risking 10 times. If you have a list of 100, 200, 300 keywords, which might be relevant to your product, might not, but you are risking the same time 300 times as you would do it for one way. So what I'm saying here is that if you don't have a very filtered list that is not highly relevant for your product, doesn't matter if it's a launching phase, doesn't matter if it's a maturity phase, doesn't matter if you want to go for scaling, for profitability, but more keywords you add, more clicks you get. Therefore, imagine it this way. So if you have
Mm.
a keyword list of maybe 5 keywords, let's have 10, so then we can like really contrast. If you have 10 keywords already, if you're going to have 10 clicks per keyword, that means you're going to have 100 clicks. That means
Mm.
that if you're going to pay $1 for each click, you already lost $100, which means that if you have a budget of $3,000, you already invested $3,000, $100 on 100 clicks that did not convert it. you know. So this is why I'm
Yeah.
saying that it's like we are always our loss of words. Like what is the wrong, like the most awful scenario that can happen to you, and based on that we're thinking, okay, then how do we, maybe we have the 300 keywords, and again, I'm exaggerating, we're never going to have that, but
Hmm.
if you want to strategize, really go for the 10, see how it works for you, see which one converts for you, then go for the next 10, see how it works, how it converts for you. So that logic would be more plausible to apply rather than I'm going for all of them and let's see what works, what doesn't.
Hmm.
Because then you don't know what you don't know, and rather
Exactly.
anyhow
Hmm.
you're going to be very very high for those keywords because you want clicks to see if it's working or not, you know.
Yes.
So did it answer my question?
Yeah.
Your question?
100%. Very good. Yeah. Yeah. Mhm.
Amazing, amazing. So how do we set up your first PPC campaign? And here you can do auto campaign, and here just for the sake of people still feeling empowered, that there are still auto
Yeah.
campaigns there and they still work, right? So here, for example, if we would create some auto campaigns, we would have the one product, both FBA and FBM offering, and then the sponsored product is going to become the automatic targeting, one targeting group, and then we would add negatives. And why this way? It's because think back of control. So right now, even if you would start auto campaigns, you have 4 targets already. So we have close match, loose match, substitutes, and then complements. So the moment that actually you would try out all 4, it's going to be very similar to what you were saying. Why not we're going for 300 keywords? Because this is like as loose as you can do it, you know? So if you want to segment as much as possible, what you would do is at least you have just only one group, ad group, maybe close match, maybe complements, maybe substitute, depending on where would your product fit. Daily
Awesome.
budget here, I'm suggesting at least for 15 clicks. And if CPC is $1, the daily budget is $15. And this is also a response to your question. If we're going to do this for 300 keywords, imagine the outcome of that, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's going
Hmm.
to cost us a lot. Um,
Awesome.
Next is manual targeting. So here what we would do is like one product, both for FBA and FBM offers, we would add them
Hmm.
here. And then here again, we're starting with sponsored product because that is something that it's helping most with ranking as well. So manual targeting will have the one ad group and then 1 to 10 keywords. It really depends on the search volume. So if you have keywords with very high search volume and very low search volume, a clear example, if a keyword that has a 10,000 search volume versus a keyword that has
Exactly.
uh,
Hmm.
200, if you're putting them in the same campaign, the one that has more impressions, like more search, is going to win over the budget from something that is not
Hmm.
as searchable. So what I would do here is just like, if it's the one keyword that it has 10,000 search volume, have it in its own campaign. So you give it budget, enough budget, you know, to see how it's going to perform. Daily
Love it.
budget again, enough for 15 clicks. If the CPC is $1 and targeting one keyword, your daily budget would be $15. So here, just give you an example. If you're having one uh, keyword with 15 clicks, the CPC is $1. If you're targeting 10 keywords, the daily budget should be at least $150. So this is why I'm saying that if you're going to start in
Hmm.
small portion to see if it's going to work and what is going to work for you.
Awesome.
How are we time wise? Let me see, 23 minutes in. Okay.
Yeah.
So sponsor products, automatic targeting, this is how someone would do it. Basically, they would select the campaign type, and then they would add the
Hmm.
which group they want and so on. Sponsored products, how they are going to do it. But here, I think the most important part that I want to share also to you and our listeners, I am not against you doing your own ads. I'm against you can do your own ads, but don't assume that you know everything that
Exactly.
like the
That's big.
10,000 hours, you know? Because right now, this is easy to set up. It's very, very easy to set up. Troubleshooting,
Hmm.
replicating strategy, that is where the 10,000 hours come in, you know? So just like want to encourage people who want to do it themselves. I did it myself. I didn't know what I'm knowing now, you know? And based on
Hmm.
that, I'm just like, be cautious, you know?
Yeah, and I think a quick parenthesis we can put in there is like people ask me all the time as well when it comes to auto and manual campaigns, what is usually the distribution of which one to give the priority to? Because I have seen so many accounts, and sometimes I'm amazed that they have so many auto campaigns, and it's like, guys, like you're pretty much
So
leaving everything on Amazon hands. So, from your experience, like, of course, auto has to be part of the strategy, but like, how much importance you give auto in comparison to manual, for example?
Right, right. So that is very, very important, and you know, like exactly the same thing. It
Mhm.
depends on if it's auto, if it's manual. Really look what already works for the account, because even if it's freaking auto, it can be that auto works really well. Actually, like we had this example with the brand, and they created these auto campaigns, and it's like a catch-all campaign, and it's a 5% ACOS. They are spending like $1,500, and they make like $75,000. It's like
Mhm.
that is the ideal account, you know, to share this case
Yeah,
study, you know.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I know.
They are making sales by branded keywords, you know. But
Yeah.
I I really love the question because it's like if it already works, auto campaigns, look into like what can you optimize there? Because probably you have no negatives, probably you have like probably there are like multiple products within the same ad group and so on. So just optimize it as best as you can. But based on that, assure that you understand the strategy behind it. And I think that we're going to go into strategies just in a
Hmm.
second, or are we not? Yes. So we're going to go
Hmm.
through strategy and actually
Nice.
how to measure the success of your PPC campaigns.
Hmm.
Actually, on Selleronomics podcast, uh, here I was featured for the Evergreen Campaign Strategy Guide, and this is something that we would just touch based on.
Hmm.
So there are different strategies. I believe that most people don't understand, and auto campaigns fall into one of these strategies. Are you okay
Hmm.
with like skipping just a few
Yeah, of course.
slides and then
Yeah,
go?
yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
So there are five main strategies that I'm calling them evergreen. Why am I calling them
Mm.
evergreen? Is because it's applicable in 2019 as it is now as well. And these are just frameworks. Already people are using it. It's just like they are not naming it specifically this way. But why I believe it's really important is because it's going to answer your why auto campaigns, why manual campaigns, and where do they fit, you know?
Hmm.
So protect is the very first strategy. And here, basically, we would show up for our branded terms, our own ASIN, and it would cost relatively low, you know. So these are the branded terms that we would show up for. The conquer strategy is going to be used, for example, whenever you see something, a low-hanging fruit, for example, your
Hmm.
competitor, they have either lower reviews, they have a higher price, they have better, like worse images than yours. The end goal is that you have a competitive advantage on top of
Hmm.
that, you know, so then you would conquer it. This is not a strategy whenever it's like a branded name and you're huggies
Hmm.
and you're going for 10%, like let's get you, you know. No, this is a strategy where you would get cheap sales from
Hmm.
the someone else's neglect, let's put it that
Of
way.
course. Yeah.
So ranking strategies, this would be, does your PP sales increase your organic rank? And here, this would be the exact match campaigns, the even phase match campaigns. I would use ranking more for exact match because here you want to show up on the first placement, like top of placement, as high as
Hmm.
possible. And then organically also bring up the keywords there, you know. So that would be a ranking strategy. The next one is going to be a dominate strategy, and this is really like placement modifiers. And you already have data for this one, and you already know that this keyword works for me, is bringing most of my sales. I cannot
Hmm.
lose to my competitor by lowering my bids on this keyword. You know?
Exactly.
And the very last one is actually the auto campaigns and the broad matches and the phrase matches and then category targeting or any other type of targeting that has not, you know, it's more loose. And those are discovery campaigns. And why it's important for everyone to understand these five strategies is because most accounts, it might be like auto campaigns and it might be broad campaigns and freight campaigns. And I see like so many in our industry, they're like, this is the broad match, like this is how I'm
Hmm.
doing it, and it's bringing most of my sales. And this is the phrase match, this is the exact match. You should not have more than one product, and so on and so on. It's like they're advocating for something that if you are like taking one step back, if you don't understand these five strategies, when to apply which, you're going to be lost because you will think
Exactly.
that I'm basing whatever I'm doing on discovery campaigns. And while discovery campaigns might bring in sales, if you want to rank for specific keywords, discovery campaigns are not going to help you with the same power
Hmm.
as ranking campaigns, for example. Does it make
Yeah.
sense?
It's super important because I feel if you get too fixated on only focusing on, let's say, ranking, that's the only thing you go for. Yeah, you leave so many loopholes in your strategy, such as you are describing, that then that's where the competition, if they know what they're doing, they can exploit it. That's how over time they can eat market share from you. So yeah, 100%. I think actually this evergreen framework for those that are listening and not watching the presentation in video right now, I recommend you coming back to the video and having a look at this, because I think yes, this is something that's going to make sure you have kind of like a bulletproof kind of approach of making sure your PPC is attacking all the fronts of the exposure that your product needs to successfully get scaled. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely love that. Yeah, and really, like, you might not be applying all five strategies at
Hmm.
once, but at least you have protect. So whenever someone else is looking up for your brand name, maybe you're just even launching a product, still have a protect campaigns because they know your product from your brand name. They don't know it as
Hmm.
like this is like long keyword.
Exactly.
So that's why it's really really important.
Yeah.
So what we want to do, like the end goal is really making the cheapest sales possible, but success is measured by aligning the desired outcome with the
Hmm.
campaign strategy, right? So the end goal is that we are profitable. The end goal is not that we're going to lose money. If we're going to lose money, it must be a long-term game, understanding like we might want to get market share. Then on the short term, you might be losing some money, but you're getting organic friends.
Yeah.
So common mistakes to avoid in Amazon PPC, really budgeting is one of them. Actually, I'm not sure if it's already live or not, but I created a post yesterday about this regards budgeting. This is the very first mistake that I see that people don't understand. So how much does a campaign actually request for you to perform? Giving you the example, if the click is $1 and if you're looking
Hmm.
at it for 10 clicks, 15 clicks per day, for you to decide that that is actually like you're giving it wiggle room,
Hmm.
you must have at least that budget for it. If you don't have that budget, what you're doing, you're suffocating the campaign itself, and therefore it's not
Exactly.
going to perform well.
Yeah.
Beats, here is the second thing, and this is something like, again, unfortunately, I mean, fortunately for those who are listening right now, but unfortunately, I learned the hard way. I was like, yes, I want this target ACOS, and like that's one
Hmm.
something that I want to achieve, and I lowered my bids, 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 bids. What did I not understand at that time is that by lowering the bids, you're going to show up in different placements, and placements
Hmm.
work differently. Top of search is not going to convert the same way how it's like rest of search or product pages.
Exactly.
So just because you want to lower your bids, uh, it's going to really impact your placements. Something that is working really fine on top of search where you have most traffic, it might not work the same way on product pages. And actually,
Okay.
your CTA will be more expensive.
Hmm.
Focusing on the 80% of the things that are you should not be focusing on, and the 20% on the things that you should be focusing. And then trading. So people are trading fundamentals to the latest tricks available online. And here again, this is not coming from a judgmental point of view because I was this person who was doing it for the first 1-2 years until I understood, hey, until I cannot replicate it, I'm not actually good. I'm just like I'm wishful
Very well
thinking.
said.
You know?
Hmm.
So if you're only as good as the latest trick you learn, you'll soon be obsolete
Mm.
when the next new trick will be discovered. And this is something, if nothing else is going to be taken away from this presentation, from this talk, this should be the only thing. Because you have to understand, if you're a follower and if you're learning tricks, you cannot think for yourself. Therefore, what you're going to depend on is like, oh, who posted what? It's like, what should we try?
Hmm.
And I don't know about you, Vincenzo, but like more power do I have, more understanding do I have more preparation I have, less stress I am.
Yes. Yes,
That's
100%. Yeah,
true.
at the end of the day, and I love the fact that you emphasize the trick thing because I feel a lot of sellers have found success sometimes by luck by using certain tricks and they haven't worked on the fundamentals you highlighted on this presentation. And at the end of the day, when things really go sideways in the sense that some of the tricks stop working, what really is going to make you sustain the growth of your business is by ensuring you have built a strong foundation. And this is all about working on the type of campaigns you just described. So super important. Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, and I love that. And see, like we can see the importance of this only now after we like really invested 10,000 hours. Someone else who's just like, "Oh, I know how to handle it." By the way, there is a very interesting bias called Kruger down. Oh, how it's called? I forgot exactly how it's called. But the idea of the bias is that whenever you're starting something, and like people who just are newbies, just because they have one small success, they are going to believe that actually they know what they're doing.
Exactly. Exactly. I know.
And it's really really important to understand that it's great, we are happy for your successes, like, but we want to help you like on the long run, not only on the short.
Hmm.
So future trends we expect in PPC advertising, Amazon will continue bringing out new ad products. So be always prepared to learn each new feature rollout. Why is this very important? Actually, again, I love Amazon, but Amazon is really self-serving, and this goes hand in
Hmm.
hand with the second slide. What they rolled out is one simple thing that they allowed for the budget to go to up to 25% or up to 100%. if it's like successful, you know. And it's like
Mm-hmm.
it's so hidden that honestly it took us like a week to understand like what did we miss, because it's something that you would not check on a daily basis. But that
Yeah,
freaking thing, it was set up to 100%, and that means that instead of $3,000 we invested $6,000, which was not in the budget. I mean, the ads were still profitable, but it's like, how do you explain to a client that, oh
exactly.
my god, what happened? It's
I
really,
know.
really important. And then you'll have to become better at outsmarting your competitors. Really, everyone is getting smarter. This same presentation is seen by your competitors as well. They have also brain. They know how to use things. Maybe they make things even faster, like they think even faster. So the takeaway is really not to be freaked out, but understand that even if you think that you're like master of it right away, the competitor is like has this access to the same information that you have, you know. So it's going to be always to how do I actually can outsmart something else that's already working for someone else, you know.
Yeah,
Again, repeating myself, if you're only as good as the latest trick you learn,
yeah,
soon be obsolete when the new trick will be
love it.
discovered. This is the way how people could find me. Just type my name in LinkedIn, Noemi Bolojan, and that way say
Thank you.
hello. Yeah, thank you
Thank you
so
so
much.
much, Naomi. I appreciate your presentation because I think one thing that I love about the structure is that you were building up on top of the fundamentals, and I think you follow this the structure that will say is what is going to create a healthy PPC execution because unfortunately I'm sure you do the same when we do so many audits there are so many people are doing things incorrectly and when you build the structure from a baseline that is doing the wrong assumptions in terms of what kind of campaigns you have to do how many keywords you have to go for or what kind of objectives some campaigns have to go for then you end up aiming towards milestones that first of all are not realistic and second of all if you reach them they're not gonna essentially sustain the growth of the brand long term so was very nice and I appreciate you putting all the time for preparing this for our audience and now I'm sure some people of course might want to reach out you already put in the information in the screen but in case for those that are listening if they want to find you like what is usually the best way for them to maybe book a call with you or reach out as well.
Sure thing. So the best way actually, it's going to be find me on LinkedIn. And on
Okay,
LinkedIn, what I'm doing is I'm doing exactly the same type of presentation. It's just sharing tidbits. What I really
nice.
want to do is like educate people as much as possible. So befriend me, say that, hey, I was watching your content on
Mm.
Vincenzo and like, I really loved it. Let's connect. Probably I'm going to accept, you know.
Yeah,
So that would be the best way. If you want to check out our website, it's scalewave.io. And if you want to contact us by email, it's contact@scalewave.io. But really, the best takeaway is take it, listen to it twice, listen to it 3 times to see how does it apply to you, because that is the biggest favor that you can do. You know, at the end, I'm sure it's the same thing as for you guys, Vincenzo. Like,
hmm,
what you want is someone who's educated, who's going to, if they are going to do business with you, if they are going to befriend you, if they're like whatever the next step is, like you want them to become educated because they ask better questions and you have less stress, right? And this is also the
awesome.
biggest.
Thank you, Noemi. So pleasure to having the show. Thank you so much, and I can't wait to see you soon. Hopefully, at upcoming events, and let's keep in touch. Yeah, wish you all the best.
Pleasure.
Okay,
Pleasure.
thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye
Bye
bye.
bye.
Take care.